Hello, my name is Megan Storm. I am the Client Relationship Manager on the State Farm and Thrivent Relationship, and I'm here with my friends James and Amy. We are going to talk about Jesse's leadership style and what makes him successful, and we thought the best way to do that is to just collect a few of his things from his office and let them tell the story. Amy, what do we want to start with in the box?
Let's pick, how about this? The flag.
The flag.
What does the flag say about Jesse?
Shows, I think it's his independence with, that he gives to his associates and the people that he manages. So he gives them basically the free will to speak what they want to do, speak how they want to, and who they want to be.
He definitely empowers people to do the job that they've been asked to do here.
Definitely. I think autonomy is like his #1 theme.
Right?
Definitely.
What else do we have in the box of Jesse's personal item?
Well, it's a picture of Jesse and his family, and I think this probably gives the biggest insight to who Jesse is. I mean, honestly. He cares about his family, and I think with his associates, he kind of treats us just like a family.
I agree. I think almost every day there is some interaction Jesse has with people in the groups, and at a personal level, he's asking about their hobbies, about their family. If there's been a sickness or an illness, he's genuinely concerned and shows that, I think, to everybody on his team.
Yeah, just last week with my grandfather passing, Jesse came up and hugged me, which is different for me. So yeah, he definitely treats us all like family members.
And I don't think he hides who he is. He's close with his family, and he brings that same aspect to work. I mean, he's close with the people that work with him. I think he feels close to them.
And he wants to be close. He wants to have that personal interaction. What else we got in here? A mirror.
That could mean a few things.
It could mean a few things. I'll let Amy start.
What? I think that this really represents his autonomy. He is who he is. One of the things that struck me about what you said on our last trip home from a client site was Jesse is who he is at the beginning of the day. He's the same person at the end of the day. He's the same person tomorrow when you see him. So he is a reflection of who he is on a consistent and regular basis with everybody.
Yeah, and I think everybody knows that he has his own personal style too, and I don't think he's afraid to show it.
No, absolutely.
And I'm not surprised he has a pink mirror in his office.
It's a good choice.
It'll go with the Dolly Parton poster that's hanging in there.
Which I think is a good segue into this next item, which is a pillow that says "fabulous," which is our little nice term that we give Jesse. Fabulous. Jesse Fabulous is what we call him, because just his own sense of style and his own personality.
And I think it reflects in the way he goes about doing his job, because when he walks into a place of business, he commands sort of the fabulous treatment, but that is what he returns to his customers. It's what his expectation is of all of us and the kind of service that we give our clients. But this particular trip was Amy and I's first trip with him out of town last year, and that's when we coined the nickname Jesse Fabulous by the time we got home, because everywhere we went, there was an expectation of the red carpet, and I see that reflected in how he approaches his work. The microphone, I think that this represents how he communicates about his passion. He's passionate about customer service work. He's passionate about developing his staff. He's passionate about people enjoying their job and doing their best. And I think the microphone represents how he carries out that message.
And it's funny, the first couple of weeks that I followed Jesse around, meeting to meeting, being an intern, and the way he loves to just public speak, he speaks just to crowds, and I think he really motivates and gives a sense of energy into that crowd when he speaks, because it's a passion of his, and I think that the microphone is almost one of the best representatives of like who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and not to use the term again, but he definitely engages his audience whenever he's speaking. I haven't met one person that doesn't, isn't fully engaged whenever he walks into a room. People always just stop and listen to him because he has, he's so great at speaking to people. Clients love him in all of our meetings and presentations because he just kind of commands attention and commands the room. So
I agree.
Next
Both
up,
good and bad. No kidding.
let's see. Toy soldiers that are unopened. You should be playing with those.
I think what the soldiers say about Jesse is, when you work for Jesse, I think you could count on him being fiercely protective of who you are to him and his group. Even if you've messed something up pretty tragically, other people outside of the group may or may not even see that. They probably aren't going to know that Jesse is coming back to us and holding us accountable in sometimes harsh and serious ways. But I think he is absolutely protective of the reputation his associates have in his group. I've seen that both when I've worked inside and outside of his departments.
And the soldiers are perfect for that, just because it's a team environment. I mean that's what it comes down to. He has to lead those, his team into the most successful way that you can be led, and I think he does that. And I think the soldiers are just a representative of what that does. And
what's left in there? Do you think he's missing any of his items?
Probably not.
Probably not. He might be missing some of these seeds, though. I think this could probably be the factor where he finds out.
He's probably looking for those right now. His post-lunch, where's my seeds? The seeds, did you want to go first?
No,
go
ahead. Go ahead.
Are important to me, I think, because in both good and bad ways, I think Jesse has been overly committed to my success. And not just that I'm in the right training classes and that I've been in the right meetings and had the right exposure, but developing and in some cases breaking bad habits that just will help me grow as a person into a better leader or a better manager or a better client relationship manager. Yeah. I think if there's anything I could say about him, is he is 100% dedicated to making sure that I grow. And in some cases that's been an easy lesson, in other cases it's been ugly. But he signs up for it no matter what.
Yeah, I have never worked with a manager or somebody like Jesse before that cared so much about my development. Like you said, even though some of the conversations might not be the best about my development, but I learn from every single conversation that I have. And it's good to know that he cares enough to have those conversations and spend the time developing me. So I definitely appreciate that.
And it's not just with even just us. I've only been here for 2 months, but I've seen him have multiple one-on-ones with everyone in the office, and it's just to sit down and talking about what they want out of the job and where they're looking to go, and if he can help in any way. And I think, he wants people to grow.
And I think the key there is he's been honest about things that are sometimes hard to admit about yourself, or sometimes hard to acknowledge, and maybe in some cases too hard for other managers or other peers to really go to that kind of vulnerable place. And it takes a great deal of trust in people to hear that and to know that it was meant in your best interest. So I think I could say that I always trust what he has to say, because it probably wasn't easy for him to say either.
Right.
But
Little hammer.
We know he's handy.
Well, he is very, very handy. But he does a great job, and the hammer is a reflection of him breaking down those walls and breaking down barriers that sometimes show up in the workplace from all levels.
And his expectation that you do as well.
Oh yeah, well we all basically carry a hammer, and we're expected to carry a hammer to make sure that we keep challenging and keep breaking down those walls.
I'm always impressed with his outside of the box thinking. He always asks questions that I don't know that probably most other people wouldn't even think of asking, and he's really good at that.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we have in here. These look fun.
There's always a surprise item.
Jesse and handcuffs.
What would that say about Jesse?
I'm a little bit afraid to talk about this one. James, maybe you should explain the handcuffs.
I can't remember. Where's our sheet?
That's our fuzz story.
Oh, the fuzz. Okay.
Oh, that story. No, that
This is
actually
should
perfect.
Should we break for a couple minutes?
Because we're laughing about the handcuffs because this was the section where we were going to talk about a sense of humor, and Jesse's sense of humor is just so constant throughout the day. I was talking to them about it, and I don't think I've actually ever sat down with Jesse and not laughed at least one time, and I think that tells a lot about it. And we were on our trip to Thrivent, and we were heading back from the trip, and we driving right, and I'm sitting up front with Jesse, and he sees a cop on the other side of the freeway going the opposite way from us, and he's just sitting there. He wasn't even driving, it was parked, and he looks down at his speedometer and goes, "Oh man, I gotta escape the fuzz." And we're sitting there and we're going along. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden, about 20 seconds later, he looks in his rearview mirror, and I guess he was trying to make it fun or something, because then he said that the cop was chasing him all of a sudden.
The fuzz is after us.
And he's screaming in the car, "The fuzz! The fuzz!"
So we jolt off this freeway to try to
across like 2 lanes.
Yeah, we try to avoid getting caught, I guess, per se. And we pull over off to the side on the other side of the freeway, and he's pretending to like throw up so it doesn't.
So the cop would feel bad for him.
Yeah,
so
the
wouldn't
cop
give him a ticket.
Who isn't around?
who we
no
still
cop.
to this day
It's
can't remember
imaginary
even
fuzz.
seeing.
And so we died laughing, but I think he invented the drama. And
He did.
But it was because we were in this like part of the trip that just wasn't that funny, and he wanted to liven things up. And I mean, he does something so funny like that. It's great, and he's that type of guy where he'll go that little extra mile just so that he knows that everyone else is enjoying and having a good time.
And I can say I laugh every day over something. And it may not be, a big deal. It's his reaction to something, or he's a laugher. So you might say something that makes him laugh, and before you know it, everyone's laughing. And then he calls people in, and it's a fun time at work right now.
Yeah. I literally, our last visit to Thrivent, one night my head hurt because I laughed too hard that entire evening, thanks to Jesse.
I think we laughed like 2 or 3 hours for the whole dinner. The whole time we were there, I didn't stop laughing, and it was just.
And it's an ugly laugh where you're bent over, like with the ugly face on,
where you can't breathe and your stomach's hurting.
But I do think that is one of his strongest attributes is that he wants that from his people. He would look for a sense of humor in someone in his group.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think the final item that we have is a good way to end our story of Jesse is the rock, or a rock that he has. I think the rock is a good symbol of really what Jesse is to us. I mean, he's obviously our leader, but he's always solid in his own ethics and his own integrity, and that he's actually looking for that in his people as well. And we all kind of take his lead on that and try to use our best ethics and our own morals in the workplace every single day.
And I think I've worked for a lot of really great people at this company that thought I was a good person, but Jesse is someone who expects you to be a good person. So it isn't that he's just lucky that he has a collection of good people that work for him. I really think he would take the stand that if he didn't believe in you and feel like you were a good person, you probably wouldn't fit into his group as well. So I think for the first time in a long time for me, I'm working for someone that every day, and I get up and come into the office, there's an expectation that I be a good person.
He's a rock.
And the thing The Rock says about Jesse is he wants you to do what you believe in, and don't ever act in a way that it would challenge that. And it may not be something that he necessarily thought of, but I have seen people walk in his office and say, I don't believe that that's right. and he goes with it, and he's like, well, then we're not doing it. I would never ask you to do something you didn't think was right. And I think it's just perspectives. You know, you have to have all the conversations to make sure you are thinking through everything right, but he would never ask you to not do what you thought was right personally. So, I don't know. Is there nothing else left?
No.
Okay. So I think that these are all things that really represent Jesse and his leadership style and the things that he stands for.